What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Fun with Dumb. I see everybody on the caffeine chat checking in. Shout out to all my regulars over here. Today is a continuous day of summer in Los Angeles. It doesn't seem the seasons have changed. The climate has changed. The climate change has happened. It's hot as fuck out here. But today I'm stoked because there's not a lot of times where I have a guest that I've known for like as long as I have with this gentleman right here. I would say we go back about 15 years, maybe even more actually.
Yeah,
now that I think about it, a little bit more,
yeah.
like maybe 17 or 18 years.
Every time I think about that, I'm like, shit, we're old.
Yeah. Bring the mic closer to you too.
All right.
You can lean back, but just bring it closer to you.
Shorty.
Yeah, and this dude right here, he saw me pretty much the beginning of when I started rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when we both got introduced into the music world and hip hop. Yeah. His name is David Kim, a.k.a. Yungin. We've known each other since we were youngins.
Yep.
And I guess you'll remain a youngin
forever
until the next 10, 15 years. He is a multi-platinum Grammy winner. And I don't know how the Grammy winner just sounded funny to me right there, but he has multiple Grammys. Just recently wrapped up some crazy projects: Nas album, Big Sean's, Dom and Hit Boys collab, $500,000. Just to name a few this year, and those are huge albums this year that came out. He mixes down the albums. Do you master too?
I master.
You master
here and there, but
yeah.
I don't really master like big stuff.
Yeah. He's a recording and mixing engineer, like Hit Boy's right hand dude, and obviously Hit Boy has had a crazy year producing those records as well. This is the man, Yungin, guys.
Hey.
Round of applause in the chats over there. I don't know how we can hear that, but what's up, bro?
What it do, man?
How you doing, man?
Chilling, bro. It's been a crazy year.
Yeah,
it's been quite a ride.
Yeah. First and foremost, let's talk about a little bit about our history and how we met. We're both from Koreatown, Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
This dude was in a rap group as well back in the day.
Yep.
And we actually did shows together, like
Asian Hip Hop Summit.
Yeah, a lot of local scene stuff, Los Angeles to the Asian stuff, to even the specific Koreatown community stuff, like playing at a random K-Town bar or whatever the fuck, whatever event somebody put together.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you got into rap, like at that age we met or what? Like,
yeah, I think, well, I played football my whole life.
Yeah.
And then I was always into music. I was a guy making mixtapes and selling mixtapes and shit at school.
Yeah.
So like when I got hurt playing football my senior year, I was D1 bound and shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But then I broke my back my junior year, and then so like my dreams went out the way.
Wait, how'd you break your back?
Weightlifting.
Wow. That happens?
Fucked up accident.
I'm lifting right now. I'm like, shit, that's terrifying.
We're doing box squats where you go heavier than regular squats, and then you sit on the box and then you get up. So you're going halfway.
Yeah.
But it was like the last set of my day, 4:15. I sat down and then I lifted with my back. And then basically I threw my back out with 400 pounds on my shoulders.
Wow. Was that devastating? Like going into like...
Oh yeah, it was terrible. I thought life was over, man. Like
yeah.
That's like the first time I had like suicidal thoughts and shit.
Because that was your main passion.
That was like the only thing I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't study because I had football. Right. I didn't do anything else because I was
you just put all like eggs in one basket. Like this is what it's gonna be.
Yeah, and I was so confident in it. And you know, like in life, you have to have those humbling moments, and that was like my first humbling moment where I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know anything. Maybe I have to prepare outside of what I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So that happened, and you know, I was like bedridden for 3.5, 4 months.
Just getting in your head about like what the fuck am I gonna do?
Exactly. And I had no answers, right? And then I kind of just forced my way into college. I went to CSUN and didn't finish there, but while I was at CSUN,
CSUN prep, like everyone goes to CSUN,
Yeah.
and then like some
Exactly.
or like a community college, the same
Right.
shit where you get stuck in for like 7 years or shit,
Yeah, and
like
then you're
in
just
and
like,
out.
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But then my friend he had like a little Logitech setup. He was like, dude, why don't you rap with me? Let's create a little rap group. And this was probably like senior year in high school. And then so we just started doing it for fun, and then I got introduced to like Ben and Mike
Yeah.
through like other mutual friends. I mean, I've known them, but they were rapping, and I was like, hey, we can do this together.
Yeah,
right?
it was the $1 Million Babies.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was the $1 Million Babies right there.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mike B, who is still making music with McKenna. He is the lead vocalist in McKenna. Shout out to Ben, who does stuff with the LA Football Club and stuff. But yeah, that was the roots. And so you got into that, and then I feel like, you know, we had a long couple of years where we kind of didn't talk, and we weren't like keeping up with what was going on. But you started kind of going heavier into the production and engineering side. Is that
yeah. So I disappeared for a while because after CSUN, I went to Musicians Institute, and the first program I took was like the independent artist program, because I still thought maybe I could rap, right?
Yeah.
And then so I took that, and then that's when I kind of got interested in engineering, because you learn Logic, you learn how to record yourself, you learn how to produce.
So it was still
things like that.
the skill trait was for you to be able to do your own music stuff. It wasn't necessarily like I'm gonna go and track people and engineer.
Yeah.
So it was still like, okay, let me just learn these skill sets. Yeah.
And then, you know, that it kind of piqued my interest, and like I got really locked into it. I was in the same class as Banana. Big
Oh
Banana.
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And you don't know, but he could sing.
Oh,
He used
word.
to sing, bro.
Okay.
He got pipes.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. He
So-
does have a really good understanding of like notes and shit,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when he's
yeah.
tracking people too. So
And at that time, he was already a couple of years in the game, and then he became like my producer, and I was like rapping, and like we were making records. But then I was like, I'd be, hey, let me get in there, and I would be tweaking and editing, like, and he's like, dude, it doesn't matter, you know, like,
yeah.
that's it's all good, it sounds good. And I'm like, no, I have to make the sound
Oh
perfect.
yeah. So you've heard more tedious things that you want to get into.
And that's when I realized, like, I've always been a person that pay attention to detail. I was like really focused on detail.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of leapfrogged me into being interested in engineering, because before then I didn't even know what engineering was. They don't show that at job fairs and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, engineers aren't really publicized. They're not the heroes. So it's like, that was right when producers started becoming like the face of music. It's like, oh, producers are important too. But until like even now, engineers are kind of like behind the scenes.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're talking about how you were always detail oriented, and knowing like to be a recording engineer requires a lot of patience and also nitpicking and detail oriented things. Like, were you already built for that, or is that something you had to even work up to even more, like that kind of being patient, the tediousness, the detailness? Like, when you got in it, was it already like, okay, this is perfect for me, or was it something you had to even get even crazier in far as being patient in it, you know?
I think I was built for it, but then my other experiences in life helped me become more patient. And then like everything around my life was help like molding me to be a better engineer without me even knowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be super impatient. I used to be a hothead.
Yeah.
I used to get into a lot of fights and things like that. And like, you know, getting injured playing football, not finding a job for a long time, you know, being a runner and being bottom of the barrel kind of guy for a long time. It taught me a lot of patience and a lot of
that was humbling too, right?
Super humbling, because it's like I used to be the guy like, Like someone look at me wrong at a restaurant, I'll go beat them up. You know what I'm saying? But then,
Yeah.
and now I got dudes disrespecting me.
Well, yeah,
like, hey,
you're
go
also
get this food, go pick this trash up, and I got.
well, you're dealing with rappers too. Oh
Dog.
my god, bro!
Right.
If I had to deal with like fucking 20 of me's every week. Nah, but so you graduated MI Music Institute with what degree?
With the engineering.
Engineering
Yeah,
degree.
yeah. So after that independent recording artist program, I went into the engineering program.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't really see a future in it. But then I got into the engineering, and it was like,
it made sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first time.
What's the process afterwards? Like, is it internships or how does that work?
Yeah.
Like,
So
what does life look like after you graduate? Engineering school.
They make it sound like it's all,
Lit, like,
yeah,
like
we're gonna get
opportunity
you.
is gonna.
We're gonna get you an internship at a top studio and blah
Right.
blah blah. Right, and like I did get an internship at a small studio, and it kind of ended when the credits were up. And it was like, okay, we don't need you anymore
I
because
see.
now we gotta start paying you, and we don't really want to pay nobody.
Oh, okay.
So I started applying. Like after that, I started applying to Chalice. Like right when I graduated school, and I graduated #1 in my class.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm
Oh,
lit.
that's up. Yeah.
I'm going somewhere with this, right? And then for 2 years, bro, I couldn't get a job.
Oh wow.
So for 2 years, I was like, and to be honest, I was only applying to Chalice because that's the only place I wanted to be.
So
at.
Chalice, for all the people listening, is one of the top studios in Los Angeles. Like any musician who comes in through this town, like that's one of the top ones they could come to, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got like Record Plant, Westlake, Conway,
Yeah.
Paramount, Chalice.
But you wanted to specifically work at Chalice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I went there one time just to apply, right? Just to apply in person, and I was like, dude, this place is lit. Like I couldn't get my mind.
You
off
saw
of
the
it.
specific like records on the wall.
Yeah.
Like stuff that's been recorded there.
I'll be on their website like every day,
Yeah.
like see what artists went there, and I'm like, fuck, I want to
Yeah.
work with this artist. And I did that for 2 years, and that was like that was another really humbling moment in my life because like I graduated top of my class. I was on a high horse kind of, and I couldn't find a job, and it was like, fuck, again.
Yeah.
Like I told everyone I could do it. I'm doing it, and then there's no payout. So after 2 years, I finally got an internship. Well, an interview that led to an internship
At Chalice.
at Chalice.
And what's
So-
what's the position like? Go into detail what the position is.
So basically, I had the day shift 9 to 6. 9 a.m. you get in, you clock in, you start by sweeping the parking lot for cigarette butts and candy wrappers and
Yeah.
shit from the night before.
Like
Blunt-
nothing music related. Yeah.
Nothing music.
Yeah.
You can't even get in the studio until you're like until you're a runner that's shown like capabilities.
You can't
Or
go
like-
into the room.
No.
Yeah, so it's like you're in the kitchen, the parking
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, kitchen,
Yeah,
parking lot, taking out trash, picking up food orders, right? And that was my life. 6 months for free, and then I got a part-time runner position, and I was like working maybe 20 hours a week as a runner, which is just a paid intern. And at that time, it was like $9 an hour. So I'm not taking home anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even when I was a full-time runner, I did that for 4 years. You're not really in the studios, but then the second you clock out, they let you like use the rooms, whatever's available.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done a few sessions like that. Like as a runner, you take the food orders and stuff,
Yeah.
right? For the artists.
Exactly.
Is there any annoying things you recall from that experience?
Man, there's a lot, bro. There'll be artists that would want a lemonade from Jones on 3rd, but then food from fucking Benihana's.
Right.
But rice, but they want specifically rice from a different restaurant. And you're just like, this is like all out of the way. But and then you come back and they're like, why'd you take so long?
Oh
my food's
God.
cold. It's
Yeah.
just like,
What's a strange one of the strangest orders, or like a repetitive thing that an artist always gets, like that you've experienced?
Man.
Is there like a certain artist that's like, this fool always wants the fish fillet? Like, you know what I mean? Like every session he has to get a fish fillet.
At that time, Kid Cudi would always get like the butter cake from Mastro's.
Butter cake from Mastro's.
Yeah, just the cake.
Wow.
And it had ice cream on top, so you had to fucking like blast. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
something
Like,
that he always like. That's his shit.
Yeah. I don't know about now, but there are definitely things that stuck where you knew exactly what this person wants and what they don't want in their sandwich, and
right,
you know what I mean, because they order the same thing every day, and then eventually that's kind of how you catch their attention, because like they start ordering something and then you finish their order for them. They're just like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Like, what do? You know what I mean?
So you want it to be efficient always.
Bro, I want it to be the best.
Buttercake Mastros. Cudi, I got you. Buttercake Mastros.
Exactly.
You good.
I'll be like, what time do you want your cake?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Now
I always found rappers and musicians to be very picky with food.
Oh, yeah.
And always strange with the orders.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
sometimes not even necessarily the... Picky doesn't necessarily mean even the best taste in food. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, you want that?
Yeah. Like, some rappers will want, like, wings extra well done. Like, no pink in the chicken whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you bring it back, it's like...
Right. Okay, so you were doing this for how long? You said
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
God.
So when I disappeared, that's when I disappeared.
That was the dues being paid.
Yeah.
You know, you're not in the scene. No one in K-Town is seeing you out on a night because you got odd hours. You know, and the few hours you have available,
I'm in
where
the studio.
you have this access to this crazy amount of equipment.
Yeah.
Is like, this is the only chance I have. Like, I can record people. I can get people on my own beats.
Right.
You know?
I can see what certain buttons do that I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, so like during that period of time, bro, no joke, I would go to work on Monday morning and come home on Friday.
Yeah.
Because we had keys to the spot. You know, there were couches we could knock out.
Yeah.
Wake up at 8 a.m.
Right.
Wash up, clock in, repeat. I did that for like 4 years. And I went ghost because, like, first of all, I couldn't afford doing anything that other people were doing.
Yeah.
Right. It was
the pay is like whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, I remember like going to like homies' birthday dinners and having to eat like a hot dog before I go because they're going to like some expensive ass restaurant and being like, oh, I already ate. You know, I ate with my family or some shit like that. So like, you know, that definitely humbled me also.
For sure.
Like, it taught me that you know, this grind, if it does work out, I'm gonna really be grateful. And
that's a crazy journey though, going from like how long is recording school? Like 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
2 years, and then immediately going into not music related shit for 4 years. Like, that's the dues being paid, right? I mean, that's heavy dues too, man. So when does at that point, after the 4 years of that, so when does the transition start happening, you know, where you get like you can actually start being a paid engineer? Because you're not a paid engineer yet, right? You're like the level below, under the engineers. Yeah.
So goes from runner to assistant engineer to engineers, right?
Oh shit! So the first step is
there's another step.
Yeah.
And basically, you're waiting for one of the assistants to either fuck up or get sick or take a vacation.
Oh, to take his spot.
Because there's like 3 rooms, main rooms, and then there's 3 assistant engineers / engineers. If those guys are there for every single session, we're not getting in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they fuck up or they're not there. So my first break was one of the assistants, he was sick, and they asked if I can step up and do the session, and I was like, bro, I've been putting in time, right? I'm in the studio more than anybody, including the engineers and assistants. So I stepped in, I killed it, and then the client started requesting me. You know, it's kind of a weird place because the dude came back and it was like, why is this runner on my job?
Why
is he getting all my sessions? Well, they're asking for him, so there's not much you can do about it. And then the next step up, one of the engineers, he went to Europe for a month.
Yeah.
During that month, I got all his sessions, right? My first session was like Jamie Foxx. I worked with John Legend.
Yeah, and they were all getting used to you too. Yeah.
And I was doing my shit. So when he came back, it was like,
You can't. That's the thing. So it's tough if you take a leave of absence or whatever, and someone gets used to a new person working. Like, you might want to continue working with that person.
Exactly.
Is that kind of what happened or what?
Yeah, and that's why I'm so scared of missing work now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because you know what I mean. There's somebody. Exactly.
And,
I've done it to somebody,
right.
so it's like I know somebody hungry is behind me. You know, and anytime I'm not working, somebody else is working.
Yeah. Especially in that industry, that's kind of interesting. Like,
man.
Just to be slipping for 2-3 weeks and it's a wrap.
It's scary because like if I'm working on something for that week, and I have to turn down the project, right? And then that project goes fucking crazy.
So has it just been nonstop? Like there hasn't been a really like long vacation in a while. And during this process too, by the way, you got married, and there's a lot of these like life things that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like this lifestyle of a recording engineer is very difficult to balance a normal hour kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have somebody that's busy first of all.
Yeah,
and Connie's like just as busy, and she's always looking for like shit to do.
Right.
So like I got lucky, you know, and she's really understanding of my struggle and my hustle during that time.
Yeah.
Because we met when I was like on the come up. I still had nothing, and I was working towards a goal, and she had faith in me. Yeah. To see that I can see it through.
You still have these crazy hours, and she wasn't tripping or nothing. Like,
I mean, there were times where where she'd be
yeah.
like, oh, you know, this might be too much, but
right.
But we worked through it, and she showed me faith.
It's not easy to handle for any partner.
No way.
You know what I'm saying? It really is. Sometimes you might just say, "Oh, try to balance it out." No, literally, sometimes you just have to be an asshole and not be there.
Right.
Like you just can't. It's hard to balance both. Like how you gonna do that? You know, it's important to you as much as your girl is too. You know.
Yeah.
So you're doing the assistant engineer thing, and you're like taking over shifts that are available, and like what's the next big accolade like that happens? I would wait. Actually, like, was that around the time maybe you got your first accolade, like with like engineering for a Grammy-winning record?
Yeah.
Or what?
So when I worked on To Pimp a Butterfly, that's when I was like halfway assisting and halfway engineering. So when the client comes in, they already have an engineer. I'm assisting.
Yeah.
But if they don't and they need an engineer, then I'm engineering.
Yeah.
Right. In that particular session, it was like a whole week-long session. Terrace Martin was kind of conducting it. Terrace Martin, Soundwave, Kamasi Washington, all the musical guys that worked on the project. They were recording like the jazz elements for the song, for the album, the string sections, the horns, all the little the sprinkles on top. And me and the homie Thomas, who still engineers at Chalice, like we got to engineer for that session, and it was like it was a big job because it would be like a 20 mic setup.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers. I mean? It's horns. To Pimp a Butterfly had so many elements and layers. Yeah. But just to give kind of like all the listeners and viewers kind of an idea of what he's kind of talking about too, is about like just being in the room. You know, like more you're in the room, the more you have a chance of being in the presence of a record that's being made.
Right.
That's gonna be a classic or gonna be a Grammy-winning record or album, and you happen to be in there working on this album, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yep.
And that was your first Grammy credit.
Yeah.
How'd that feel? That was like
it was crazy.
I remember
man.
you posting that. Where I was like, oh shit. And then like we're in the group chat with my other homies, like sharing. And like, yo, you know, Yungin. Like, what the fuck? When did this shit happen? Like, it really did feel kind of, you know, we know you've been engineering stuff, but it was kind of like, oh shit, like when did this happen out of nowhere? You know what I'm saying? And then from there, it just kept going. But yeah,
it felt gratifying because I know how much time I put in. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's so many times I wanted to quit, and there's so many times I wanted to just fucking walk away from that shit.
Yeah.
That it finally felt like it like validated, like okay, everything I did, and like the greatest moment when I took that to my pops.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like more than what I felt about it, like taking it to my pops and being like, yo.
Yeah.
You know, I told you I told you I would make you proud.
Does he know does he know about the Grammys or what?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
of course.
Okay. Actually, I think my dad would probably know about the Grammys.
That's the one thing, bro. Like in our Asian community, in the Korean community, there's so many doctors and lawyers, and that's what the parents are proud of, right?
Right.
But then if your son brings home a Grammy, bro, none of that means shit. You're like, you brought something that nobody else could have done.
That's true. That's something that a doctor lawyer can't do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, in a way, it felt good to make my parents proud in a way that they never expected to feel proud.
Right. Because it is hard in general. Like, that is the accolade to have in this field. Yeah. As a recording engineer, right? I mean, to be fair, like, none of us really need any of those accolades because we love making music.
Exactly.
That's a great pride in it, but it does bug you a little bit when it's hard to show your parents shit.
Yeah.
I always found that to be something that bugged me a little bit. It's always like, of course, I can be like, money. I'm making mad money. I could show that, but like, you want something like, just like something like, like this little trophy thing.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that always kind of bugged me is like, how do I measure that? And I shouldn't feel like I have to, but we have our things, we have our different relationships with our parents. But you felt like that was like a thing that. Did you feel like almost like this burden off your back about like your parents kind of worrying about you or thinking that you weren't doing shit? Like,
for sure, because like. Even if they support me, it's like, okay, they're supporting me because they're my parents, right? I don't know if they truly believe in me.
Yeah.
But then that proved to them that, like, hey, all the love and support that you showed me wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to at least like give them that.
Before we go into some of these other like albums and records you've worked on. Wait, hold on. Let me actually talk to this chat real quick. If you guys have any questions, throw inside here too. We'll collect these questions. What do we got? Some of these questions. The Grammy nominated. This dude grinds 24/7 is one of our up comments. He really does, man. He's a humble dude. Go up real quick, Alex. Let me see. Please throw your comments and questions in here. We can take calls at the end of this pod too. If you guys want to ask your question in person, what was your favorite artist to work with? Let's do that at the end. Let's go through a little bit. But one thing I was going to say about your parents too, having these Korean parents, and not recently, over the years, you've been working with a lot of Korean artists too. Does that give you any points, like with the parents?
Definitely. Definitely. Because you know how Korean artists, when you work on their project, they send you like the signed album, right? That's like a a thing. And I've been collecting them, right? Like, bro, JK sent me hella albums signed. Tasha, like I just worked with ITZY. They send me some shit.
Yeah, all the rappers you work with now too in Korea. That I did notice they are really good with that. They do not forget anybody who worked on your album. They will send you a signed album,
right, and a whole personalized
personal message. It's like a very traditional Korean thing where it's like a insa or like a gratitude package thing. It's very sweet, actually.
Shit, in America, sometimes you're left off the whole album. It's right.
Motherfuckers would do you dirty.
Yeah, man.
Is there times you've been done like that or what?
Definitely. Yeah. On a Grammy nominated project.
Oh,
too.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get credit. And I'm like, yo. And then like they'll fix it after.
Oh,
like you bring it up, but it's like not on the album.
Yeah,
like on my title, you'll pop
and it
up,
still don't even hit the same after the fact. You gotta ask for it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucked, bro.
Yeah, but I try not to to let it bother me.
I mean, you haven't, you've gone this far. Cats like, it's tough because you're in we're in a place that you don't want to. There's a element of like, yes, you deserve the credit you do, but there is a big game we play in this too, and we have to operate accordingly because motherfuckers don't want to work with people who are extra about it too early, maybe. Like too early, trying to act all crazy. Sometimes you gotta take an L from an OG. You gotta take an L. Like I think I always tell this to young motherfuckers, dude. You gotta be willing to take L's sometimes because there's hierarchies, there's OGs in this game.
Yep.
And some people start acting rock starish way too early.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now, everybody's really entitled to everything.
True.
Like,
True.
They all want their credit, and it's like people that didn't even work on something, they try to get credit for it. You know.
And here's the thing: sometimes the OGs you work with, or somebody with a higher status, their mindset is kind of like, "Yo, just take this L right now.
Yeah.
It'll come, but right now, just take the L."
Yeah.
They won't even. I'm not saying they even say it. It's just like they just show it
For sure.
But you gotta kind of play that game, and
Yeah,
sometimes
man.
they fuck with you even more when you're willing to do that,
Right.
because it's a team effort. You know, this thing is a team effort.
Yeah. If you stay down and
exactly loyalty,
Yep.
they want to see all those other elements of like loyalty.
Exactly.
Let me ask you. So, okay, let's just continue down the timeline to Pimp a Butterfly, first Grammy joint. Like what? So is the next step like meeting Hit Boy? Like or was that already kind of in the works?
I don't know exactly when that happened, but then it happened at Chalice. At that time, when I met Hit Boy for the first time, I was still a runner.
Yeah.
Like on the verge of becoming a assistant engineer.
Okay.
And then he was in one of the studios, and how we came about was I went on a Chick-fil-A run for him in his studio.
Yeah.
And basically this was the fastest Chick-fil-A run of all time, bro. Like literally 15 minutes from order to delivery. You know what I'm saying?
Is it the Hollywood joint?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, I took it. I really admired Hit Boy before that. You know, and I was like, I'm gonna work with you one day. I told him that before I went on this run. So now I have extra motivation. I went on this run, came back 15 minutes, and then basically was like, damn, like you're back.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you left.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, runners are usually notorious for taking their sweet ass time.
Yeah.
And that caused his manager at the time to ask me what I do. I told him my engineer. He took down my number. And then it wasn't until like a year maybe later.
Yeah.
They hit me up. They were kind of not satisfied with their guy. Hit me up. I pulled up to his crib, and he has a studio at his crib. His engineer at the time was in the room. Yeah. I didn't know, but he told me to step up, and I engineered that whole session. I was talking shit about how the session was, but he was in the room, and then from there they just kept hitting me up. At that time, you know, DJ Khaled was constantly hitting me, Keisha Cole, and then Hit Boy. So at this whole time, I was working at Chalice, but you know, Keisha Cole, DJ Khaled, and Hit Boy, they were like, I was freelancing for them, and there was a lot of schedule conflicts, because I'm like, Chalice is my first priority, and I have to go do any session that they asked me to do. And then it got to a point where there were so many conflicts where he was like, hey, what's it gonna take for me to get you full time? Yeah. And I told him like, hey, if you give me a salary. Because for an engineer, salary is like, right. You know, we don't get that. Yeah. You know, so I gave him a number. He agreed to it. That's when I left Chalice, and it was kind of like, it was so hard to leave, right? Because Chalice is every day you're working with the big artists, different artists. Right.
This is another challenge in loyalty.
Yeah.
Right, it's like when you get on board a salary as an artist, like, you know, like Anderson has his boy, Travis has his boy, you know, like all these dudes have their main engineer, and you're engineering for any session that he wants to do. You know? But I mean, Hit Boy is like, that's a good one to engineer for, because you're still gonna get a lot of artists there.
Hell
you know? So
hell yeah, and like shit, he's my favorite producer of all time.
Yeah.
So it was. As hard as it was a no-brainer for me. If I was gonna leave with someone, it was him.
Right. I mean, you know? His run, like his accolades at such a young age is crazy at that point already. Yeah. You know, he had like the Watch the Throne, Paris, Mercy. Yeah. That was a hell of a run right there.
Great. Flawless, all the Rihanna joints. Yeah.
Yeah, he went crazy. So, you know, that's not a bad decision. You know?
Right.
So you're doing sessions with him at that point, just full time from Chalice to this transition, in which it was all events of just putting in your dues and meeting somebody, and that opportunity. You were ready for the opportunity. Yeah. We always hear that saying that success is when opportunity and preparation meet. Yep. And that is the realest shit ever. The realest shit. I've had so many opportunities that I wasn't ready for.
Exactly.
You know, people want opportunities all day, even when they're not ready, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, bro, it doesn't work like that. I'm telling you
And that's
right
when they
now.
say, "Oh, you're so lucky." It's like, yo, you've probably been lucky too. You just weren't ready.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. That happens all the time. Cats don't realize. It's like I have so many people hitting me up about, like, you know, 16, 17-year-olds DMing me every day about, like, how, you know, I need a manager, or I need this. I'm like, you don't need a fucking manager.
Yeah.
There's no reason a 16-year-old's need a manager right now.
Right.
For real.
I get the same shit, man. They're like, man, I think it's too late. I'm already 22. I'm like, bro, I went to school at 24.
Yeah.
I graduated at 24. What are you talking about?
Unless you are a prodigy musician at like 8 years old and put in work since 8 years old to like 15, maybe you need a manager.
Yeah.
But I don't care how it's like what status you're like in the record label, and somebody, even a manager, when they see like a talented 15, 16-year-old, I'm like, I feel bad, low key.
Right.
I feel bad for the kid, because I'm like, you know, I'm not even giving this full to get a voice.
Yeah.
To like develop as a voice, you know?
Exactly.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, you definitely paid your dues, and I always say that about even Anderson. Like, he's an artist who's in his 30s. You know, he didn't blow up until he hit like 30, like 29 or something. You know, and like that was I always say that people don't take that element out. Besides the fact that he's very talented, people forget about that element too.
Bro.
He knew, like, he's in one of the best positions because he knew how to navigate as an artist and as a grown up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers make terrible mistakes when they're young, dude.
And he put in the time, bro. Like, I remember having sessions with him when I was a runner and shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this is my third session of the day. I'm going to do this and then go to another session. I'm like, damn,
bro. How incredible was it? Just anybody who's encountered him at those hungry moments, he just pull up and, like, blow away everybody. Like, god damn, bro.
Everybody. It's like, wait, how aren't you already signed? How aren't you already blown up? Well, I mean, that was the groundwork that he had to have.
Bro, any feature that dude would do is just like to make you feel like shit. Like, didn't you engineer the joint for him and McKenna?
Yeah. With Mike.
Yeah, with Mike. Yeah, just Mike. And that hook is stupid. Yeah. Still, like, I still love that shit. Oh,
Dreaming Out Loud.
Yeah. It's fire.
Crazy. I was like, what the fuck?
Damn.
Man.
Let's go back to the I mean, just talking about Hit Boy, man. You've been with Hit Boy how many years now? Like,
we're going on like 4 years.
4 years.
4 years now.
4 years. And in those years, like, what are some significant projects, like, or, you know, records you worked on?
I mixed the whole Nas project. I got to be a part of the Big Sean album.
Yeah.
The Benny the Butcher, he's dropping this Friday. That's
gonna be hard.
I got to mix 8 on there.
Wow.
Young Guru mixed 4.
Wow.
So I'm like,
so are you like in the studio with Young Guru mixing?
No.
He does his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I met him and we chopped it up and stuff, but he did his stuff at his wherever studio he mixed at. What else have we done? Nipsey, Racks in the Middle.
Yep. Roddy Ricch, Nipsey. That was, huge record.
That was crazy. We worked on that T Grizzly album. What else?
What do you think is the biggest record you've done? Would you say Racks in the Middle?
I'd say Racks in the Middle for sure.
That record was huge. Yeah. And you have like a legendary feature on there, like Nipsey, like just right when everything kind of happened too. Right. So it makes it extra special, I feel like.
Yeah, man. And that's the most impactful record that I've worked on for sure. Just because like meeting Nipsey, and that was the first time I actually asked the artist after recording the song, like, hey, do you mind letting me mix the song? Because he usually
you asked.
I asked him.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wrapped up and it was sounding crazy, and I did the rough mix, and he was feeling it. So I was like, hey, like, can I get the first shot at mixing this record? I know you usually go to so and so, but if you don't like my mix, I won't.
But that's not not even standard, right? A lot of engineers just wouldn't do that unless you're asked to do it. Exactly. Or something.
Yeah. And as a recording engineer, it's hard to break into the mixing. It's like it takes something like that,
right,
to break into the mixing a part of it, because people don't just start trusting you for no reason with no credits and shit.
What got into you to just like kind of ask them though, like,
bro, just
Was it natural?
I
Were you
love the
nervous
song
about
so
it, or you were just feeling it? You're just like,
I was for sure nervous,
Yeah.
but it was like a nervous confidence.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I was nervous, but then I kind of trusted that he would
yeah.
accept my.
You were
my
hyped.
offer.
You were kind of hyped too, or you were probably like,
Yeah.
yo, let me mix this.
Yeah,
one, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that kind of feeling. You know?
It helped me realize that fear isn't really. It's fear is all made up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I try to preach that fear is now like a direction for me. Like when you feel scared, that means you're doing something right. That means you're on the brink of a breakthrough.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Breaking out of those comfort
Exactly.
zones. I know how to be stuck in a comfort zone
Yeah.
and also how to break out of those
Mhm.
comfort zones. I mean,
Yeah.
it's scary, but you look at it like, why am I scared? You like if you look at it from the outside, you're like,
Yeah.
why am I scared? It's
In
so weird.
retrospect, it's like, bro, that's all of the big events in my life happened from getting through fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From facing fear and then overcoming fear.
Right.
And like actually doing something that I wouldn't normally do. You know, because like everybody wants to do more and be something that they aren't right now, but it's like, how are you gonna do that if you keep doing the same shit?
Yeah. And ask your questions right now in the chat. We'll get to the questions. Someone commented on that Wayne verse on Timeless, and I know that was another GOAT status
Yeah.
right there. So what are some artists that you would want to work with that you haven't yet?
I get this question a lot, and it's really hard to answer because
Yeah.
like,
They're starting to trickle in already, kind of.
yeah, yeah. I feel like I'm so grateful for the projects that I've done. That like I stopped wishing for stuff, and it's kind of like I just keep my head down and work hard, and whatever
Yeah.
comes,
Yeah.
I take it with a grain of salt.
Was the recent ones pretty like wild for you? Like Nas coming
Nas
in?
was nuts.
Yeah.
Nas was nuts
Yeah.
because he felt untouchable.
Yeah.
Like he felt like I couldn't reach him, cause like I revered him growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he got me through some of my hardest times as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, before I knew what my emotions were
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
I'm just listening to the one mic, crying my ass off,
right.
like for no reason.
Yeah.
Things like that, and like he just kind of felt like if you had asked me, do you want to work with Nas? I'd be like, I mean, I don't think I will, but of course, you know.
Yeah.
So when that did happen, it was like, that was the first time I was nervous in a long time.
Right.
And to be honest, the first time I ever recorded Nas, probably like 4 years ago, that was the only time I ever got like shakes in the studio while recording somebody.
Right.
Yeah. I recorded him for like a Rick Ross album, and I was literally like shaking while I was recording him, and I've never felt that before.
I mean, one thing also about like engineering for all the cats listening, I know for me too, as an artist on the other end of that, like you want an engineer who's like fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to our boy Sonny, and was like, he was saying you're the fastest dude he's ever seen. yeah. I mean, would you say you're pretty up there on the fast level?
Yeah. That's the one. I guess that's the one thing I'll really take pride in.
Yeah.
It's like my speed when I record and when I mix, because like, you know, time is money. The faster you are, the more you can do.
It's just a weird thing where when you're recording and you know you're like, okay, let me get that again. You just want it quick. You don't want like 1 millisecond of where you feel like you're waiting.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? I don't know what it is. Like every time I do that, that's one expectation I have. I'm like, yo, let me get that again. And if I have to be like, yo, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll say that it's not even that much time, but you
Right.
want it like right when you say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's because you have this creative flow, and you know exactly what you want to say.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake, you want to get it out before it's gone.
It's almost
You know what I'm
like
saying?
you want the engineer to even kind of be on the same page as you,
Mhm.
where you want them to almost predict like what you're gonna do. Almost.
Yeah.
If you get that, then you're like,
Bro.
you got the real.
No,
you're on the money,
there's
bro.
definitely some sessions, bro, where you just feel synergy and you're just locked in.
Yeah.
Like you do fucking 5 songs in 30 minutes type shit. And
Yeah.
it's like there's guys that help push me to get to that. Because a lot of rappers nowadays, they record 1 bar at a time.
Yeah.
You know, like Future, Thug, Travis,
Yeah.
Roddy Ricch, those guys.
A lot of the southern
Yeah.
style, you know, like 3-6 was always doing that, and I got put onto that a lot, and I actually started recording like that too. And then like I always now I switch it up, but I had a period where I was doing that for a while. Yeah,
it helps you just be more a little bit more like carefree, right?
for sure.
It's
More
just like,
loose, more loose.
It's just more fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously dudes who are beasts at that.
Yeah.
Like Thug is like one of those dudes.
Nuts.
You know, insane. Like I definitely feel loose like that, but I don't feel like I come up with the best like intricate lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, when I do that.
That's surprising to me because you know sometimes when you're freestyling, I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Whoa,
That's always been a huge.
what the fuck?
It's always been a huge problem
Yeah.
for me because I've always, when I growing up, I was always sick at freestyling. I always had very intricate freestyles. I couldn't do it in the booth, like, and then when I try to do line by line, I still kind of like it doesn't flow the same way. Like I think freestyling there's not much pressure. You know, when you put something on record, you're like, God damn, you got to think about this shit. You know what I mean? Let me ask you, like, far as environments and studios, like, what's the environment like in most Hit Boy, like the sessions you guys are in? Is it pretty chill, like party situations?
Super chill, man. It's like he kind of tries to limit the amount of people.
Yeah.
Like I think I've become a little bit more reclusive.
Yeah.
You know how I used to be super outgoing and
Yeah.
I love crowds and things like that, but now I'm like, man, I don't want to be around too many people,
Right.
because I feel their energies.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I become very sensitive to other people's energies, and then like the amount of energy I lose trying to match their energy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I let him know that, and he kind of keeps it under wraps.
Yeah.
So he usually has like, if an artist is coming, they usually come alone or with like a small posse. But occasionally you still get like the Chicago rappers that come with like 10 dudes all strapped up and shit.
God damn.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But these days I have my room right next to Hit Boy's room at Chalice. So a lot of the times I'm in my room, and a lot of the recording duties, like he learned to record himself, and like he kind of just records the artist unless they're a particular artist, like if they're like a like R&B vocalist that needs special attention, or if it's like a really fast guy like a Roddy or something, he'll hit me up to come back in the room, and then we'll work like that. But usually we're just.
Who's the most like incredible artist you've seen, far as like how they work in the studio, like the most efficient?
I'd say fucking Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD's he was crazy.
Really? Like what made it so efficient?
Because he'll literally come in, he'll hear a beat for like 10 seconds, load it up. You'll load it up, and he'll mumble for maybe like a minute. Yeah. And then he'll lay down a whole song freestyle, including hooks. Oh, like, wow. He'll literally freestyle an 8-bar hook and then go in freestyle into a verse, drop a 16, and then recite the hook again. Right. Like he already has it memorized. Like what the fuck?
Right.
Like he's the type of person to do like 10 songs in an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Jesus
one
Christ.
take whole song, and then one take ad libs. And he's like, next beat.
Damn. and then like, they're all like pretty decent.
Yeah.
Holy
bro,
shit.
he really saying some shit. Like a lot of his songs that are out, they're all freestyles.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Any other like artists that you thought were pretty incredible?
I think Roddy's pretty
yeah,
up
I could
there.
see that.
Roddy's crazy. Benny just got bars, but like he'll take he's like a conventional, he's like a New York rapper. You know, he'll sit there and listen to the beat on loop for like an hour or two and really write to the shit.
Right, bars. I mean, it's to be honest, if you really want to write bars, you have to do that. Right. That's the difference, you know.
Yeah.
Melodic rappers and like a bars guy.
Exactly.
You know?
You're not coming up with triple entendres on the fly.
Nah. Yeah, that's incredible, man. Right. Like just kind of. That's exciting, just being there and kind of seeing the processes of some greats, right? That's part of the perks of it.
Yeah, I think that was the greatest thing, like being an assistant engineer, being in the back of the room, because as an assistant engineer, you're not really doing much. You're just kind of there for when the assistant or the engineer needs you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you turn this up a little bit? Hey, can you go get this person some tea? Or hey, can you adjust this microphone?
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're just sitting in the back of the room, right? So I've been in assistant sessions with like Timbaland, fucking Pharrell,
Right.
like all the Andre 3000, like
Yeah.
Ariana, all these really big artists, and I saw their workflows.
Yeah.
And I learned like, hey, this is one way to do it. So I kind of adopted it into my workflow. And the next time I had like a vocalist, I can distinguish like, okay, maybe I can use like Ariana's workflow and that'll work for her.
Yeah.
Or like Mary J. Blige's workflow and that'll work for her. And I'll kind of try things and make people comfortable.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did a good job at that, just
Yeah.
making people feel comfortable in the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Are you excited about like the upcoming Grammys and the possibility of like some of these projects getting nominated? Or what?
I really hope that the Nas project gets nominated because
Yeah.
he hasn't won one.
Right.
So if I can be part of a project that's his first Grammy,
crazy.
like woo, that would be crazy.
It's crazy how the music industry works in that way.
Yeah.
Where you have certain artists like that who has never won a Grammy.
Yeah.
And you'll have like new artists that's won multiple.
Bro, you
in
got
the first year.
Macklemore that like swept.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
so
True.
that's another reason I don't hold that so high in
Yeah.
regards.
Yeah. Because
Like it's more of a blessing than like, hey,
award ceremonies is tricky because there happens to be certain factors every year that stop from great albums getting nominations or wins. You know, I think there was a year that like Alicia Keys was winning like every Grammy, and then there were like other albums competing with her that were great too,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
NDRE and a bunch of people and stuff.
right. It's definitely politics that
Yeah,
plays a part.
yeah. But I mean, you got some good credits this year, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you and Hit Boy both are like, Hit Boy had a great year. Like it was almost like kind of like a comeback from like his crazy run.
Yeah.
You know,
Because he had that run in 2013, and then in between then and now, he's had records, but like maybe like one or two number ones here and there, but nothing crazy.
right.
And this year it's just back to back to back to back, and like
Yeah,
it's testament. It's just a testament to how hard he's worked,
for sure.
and he's always worked that hard. And I think that's why it's important to be available for the opportunity, right? Because you can work your ass off for 10 years and not get anything for it, and then on your 11th year,
That's true.
you know what I'm saying?
That's why I tell motherfuckers not to quit, man. You never
Exactly.
know what's gonna happen.
Hey,
You
bro,
know what
me
I'm
and
saying?
both of us, we're here
Fuck
through
yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the one thing I'll say. No matter my career could be a roller coaster, but they couldn't get rid of me, bro. I'm gonna come with something.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, because I know you produce too. Is that
Uh-huh.
kind of like what you see like the next step to be? Maybe producing some big records, or like what is the next step actually? Because like we talked about even the levels of like what Chalice would be like runner, assistant engineer. Like what comes next? You know, like or what would you want to do?
I think first and foremost, I want to start getting like points for mixing, right? Because I
Okay.
think like a lot of the big guys, from what I hear, the labels a lot like a percentage to go to the mixer.
Really,
But,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
I heard
interesting.
from another big mixer. He's like,
Wow.
but then usually like A&Rs or the managers will scoop that up.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh shit. But finding somebody that'll fight for you and that has the right connections to make that happen, I think that's an important thing. But I think that'll be a important step in the engineering community, because a lot of mix engineers, like without them, bro, the song is ass.
It's
right?
true. It's true.
I mean, there are certain songs that are going to be great no matter what, but then certain ones, the mix engineer makes the song.
I mean, especially with rap being more melodic now, you better get that mix right,
Bro.
You know,
Bro, don't let us take the tune off. You know what I'm saying? Don't let us release that.
yeah. And here's the thing, like. What the big engineers are talking about, I'm assuming they're like the Mike Deans, the young girls, like cats like that, probably like who are getting some of these points. Where they're so kind of associated with like the artists like that are making that sound.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That'd be fire though.
I mean, that's the next step, and I think producing is out there somewhere for me. But I still enjoy mixing more than I enjoy producing, and I feel like I'm putting so many hours into it that I kind of want to see it through, and like I want to see how good I can be at it. You know what I'm saying?
Like what the next level of that is.
Yeah. Cause like, bro, we're always surprised at what the next level is. We think it's one thing, but it's never that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We paint this path that we're supposed to follow, but we don't take that road to get to the destination. So I'm like, I'm just excited to see what the future holds, and like definitely production is in there. But like I just don't have the time right now.
I got you. Well, let me before we go out, I want to just like have people just ask questions, and this could be any questions, like if you're just like a dude mixing at the crib, or just have any little questions about anything, any filters or whatever, this would be the time to ask.
For you to play.
What is there any what's a plugin that changed the game for you? That's a good question, actually.
The Fab Filter Pro Q series. Now it's on the number 3, the 3rd edition of it, but then that's the EQ, where you can like isolate certain frequencies, and it's just a lot of control in that EQ, and that helped me really, really clean up my vocals and like get me to where I wanted to be.
The Fat Filter Pro Q.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you work with Dumb on his next album?
Let's get it.
Let's go.
That's easy.
I'm working on my next project right now. It's gonna be on 88 Rising, and I definitely got to get the best mix on this one out of any project I've ever had.
Man,
so
let's
we'll
get it.
We're gonna get that.
It's a long time coming.
Yeah.
Hey, I produced something for you.
Yeah, I want you guys. By the way, for anybody who might not know, on the Rocket Man album, he produced the track 11. 1 out of 10. I'm on 11. 1 out of 10. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I still love that track. I still love that track.
That shit goes up.
So let me see. Has David considered mixing / producing for film?
Man, it's a lot of work. But yeah, I've definitely considered it. We've scored this Netflix movie called Uncorked.
Okay.
It's about that wine.
Oh wow, you guys scored that.
Yeah, me and him. Well, not the whole thing, but some of it, where they sent us scenes and we made music to it.
How was that?
It was
like
fun,
fun
super
experience?
fun, super fun, and like I know there's more money in it, but I kind of enjoy the music part of it. Like I like projects more than I like a scene or a movie.
I feel that it is a different thing.
Yeah,
like scoring things is a whole different thing.
Especially because that's not the focus. The music's not it's like a vibe. You're focused on the
the visual and what you're making for that. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up unless you guys got a few more questions here. Is there anything there at the other side, Alex, on the questions there? No, those are it, right? Okay. All right, this is your last chance to ask any questions right now. What is there anything that you guys are working on that you can talk about, or well, the next one is the Benny the Butcher album.
That's coming out this Friday.
Yeah.
Another one's coming out this Friday. It's rock. I work with Rock Nation. It's called Reprise. It's
it's a compilation, right?
It's a compilation. It's all the proceeds go to like foundations for social injustice. It's kind of like how like the Pac used to raise a lot of awareness on that. I feel like this is kind of doing that for this generation, where it's like,
this is another good question. Any artists you worked with that you think are going to blow up? Anybody you're excited about?
I like that kid Kid Leroy.
Kid Leroy, yeah.
I think he's kind of up next. That dude, Australian white dude. He's like 16, 17 years old, but he's nice, man.
Yeah.
He got some crazy melodies.
You guys work together in the studio?
Oh, we've done a couple things. I mixed one song for him that's yet to come out, I think.
Yeah. Will you work with Yachts?
Man, anytime, bro.
Yeah,
Rick's been hitting me.
we're all in the same, vicinity of stuff. It's also like, scheduling and stuff and things like that. I was gonna ask you another thing because I saw Hit Boy going back and forth with Kanye on the contract stuff.
Yeah.
So what's the situation with this? Because he was saying, like, you know, what Kanye was putting out there, Hit Boy is like, yo, you right about this, but you do this too, right? Like you pretty much kind of have the same system.
Because you know, Kanye was head of Good.
Yeah.
And like
he had a shitload of artists on there.
Shitload of artists that weren't really getting their percentages, you know what I'm saying? And then only after he mentioned that, Kanye was like, okay, I'm going to give all my artists their masters. And, you know, Big Sean was one of the people that were like, thank you. Like, finally, you know?
Yeah. Does Hit Boy still have, like, is he still having trouble, you know, with his masters and stuff?
He signed at a young age, you know what I mean? Like 19, 18 or something like that.
Right.
He signed like almost like a lifetime deal with Universal, and they're kind of, it's a pub deal, and they don't really let him do what he wants to do.
Is there any progress since those Kanye tweets on that or not?
Probably
not. I feel like some motherfuckers was not budge on that. But I am learning a lot about publishing and masters, and man, like as I've been kind of sitting in recently on like these big sessions with big artists, like, and they'll start talking about that, like, man, people are like really stuck in some fucked up deals, bro.
It's modern day slavery, man.
It's crazy.
Like they make it look like you're getting the you know, big end of the stick, but like it's pennies on a dollar,
right? And
they're doing all the work. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, man, yo, I'm definitely proud of you as a fellow Koreatown community member. I mean, it's wild. Too, like bro, I always, you know, but I'm also just proud, like just our circle of, you know, cats, even Christy, you know, our homegirl who's like gone into jewelry, custom jewelry. You know, Christy Cash, you can look her up. But just seeing kind of the circle of K-Town people, you know, we always talk about K-Town. There's like the stereotype of how we grow up here and what a K-Town head is. Yeah. But I just recently, even beyond that, just started thinking about like the people in the immediate circle who are thriving.
Yeah.
And I totally feel like I haven't really just even looked around and seen that until recently, and I've realized like, yo,
it's crazy, right?
And we all hung out during that time where there was kind of like this K-Town renaissance of people involved in hip hop. Like we were all like troubled youth, you know, we were all like fucking around and wilding out, but we had a community of young Korean kids in K-Town that had heavy interest in the culture. You know what I mean? And if you see us now, we all have positions in the culture.
Yeah, exactly. Furs, G, Mike.
Right.
Yeah. We're all in it, bro.
Hey, I'm proud of you, brother.
It's amazing to see that, man. Like coming up, you know, on a parallel path. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people just either stop trying, they become the disgruntled ajashi.
Yeah, I respect y'all because the people who are still here, because that shows me like how real and serious you guys were to the culture and how like dedicated you were to the culture. Because there's people who are just, you know, they say they're part of the culture, but they're not really. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to give back to the culture to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And you guys have truly done that, and we're all here. You know, there's another good question. How has music streaming changed the game of being a sound engineer? Has that changed? Because this is something I saw recently on Twitter too. People were talking about how the sound quality is better on certain things like Apple Music or Spotify. Like, have you noticed those things? Or
yeah, for sure.
Because
I think Tidal, you know, they try to They try their best to have like the highest fidelity sounding stuff, but doesn't mean that, like, to me, honestly, I listen to Apple Music.
Yeah.
I think it's like the most even playing field where like.
Can you actually hear the difference, like, on streaming platforms?
Yeah,
really,
definitely.
Yeah, that's something like you gotta have the ear for. Like, I just kind of just jam to it,
but they have like different algorithms that match up to a certain level.
Right.
Like, there's things that are
there's
too
limiters
loud
and stuff too. Yeah.
But as far as like changing it for engineers, it's like there's more opportunity for engineers, but at the same time, there's more shitty engineers. You know what I mean? There's like the button pushers that are getting a lot of jobs.
Right.
And then there are But overall, I feel like engineers are thriving because of streaming, because there will always be people that record themselves, but if you really want to be taken serious, you got to get mixed by somebody.
Yeah.
You got to get a professional recorded, and at those times, like the engineers are being more available. I feel like more people are chasing that that job.
Yeah, I feel that. You have a podcast or like a tutorial thing, YouTube channel?
It's called All Up in the Mix. You know, I just pull up mixes and all the knowledge, all the things that I learned that took me a long time to learn. I want the engineer community to move forward.
Yeah.
A little faster than I move forward, right? Like, I'm not the type to like hold knowledge in just because I'm scared of someone being better than me. Nah, like I want everyone to become better than me. I want to look back at engineering and see people pushing the threshold. You know
I mean,
what I'm
it
saying?
should be, because that engineering process was such a tedious thing growing up, of trying to figure out. Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what's the best way to catch follow you? Probably Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram. David Yungin Kim.
David Yungin Kim. Make sure you follow him. We'll put it on the links over here. Give him a follow. Also check out the all up in the mix like tutorials and stuff, like if you're trying to get put up on game. I hope everybody enjoyed this discussion, especially for like the real like recording heads in here. I think this was a good one, man. Real talk. Yo, David, thank you for pulling up. Love you, brother.
Appreciate the talk, man. I'm proud of you too, dog.
Tune in next week for another episode of Fun with Dumb. Peace.
Deuces.